18th hole at the Ryder Cup. It is the final hole. We're teeing off two heavyweights, and we need to see who's going to win this thing outright. Stick with us, and we'll show you who's going to win. Welcome back to Pars and Pours. Jim McClear here, the whiskey golf-centric channel. I always said golf-centric whiskey channel, but we'll trade it around for hole 18. This is the final of the Ryder Cup. We've gone through 18 different contests, and we're down to the very final hole. We've graded both of these ryes on nose, palate, and uniqueness, okay? And what we've done through this entire series is talk about the Ryder Cup, its inception, how it's played, different things about it, factoids. And we also throw some factoids out about Bethpage Black. And so now when you get ready to go in the Ryder Cup, which is literally a week away, that you'll have a little bit more knowledge about what's going on, see what, being able to watch on TV and see what to expect, and you'll be able to know which ryes won. Okay, the ryes here. The ryes are not allocated. They're not unicorns. They are things that you can either get at the distillery or on the shelf. So these are by no means the, oh my God, I got to have these. No, these are normal drinkers that you can get. And these two have finished on the top. Okay, so on my right, I'm going to have Hard Truth. This is the Master Distiller's Reserve Sweet Mash Rye. And it is a uncut, unfiltered caramel malt with the mash bill number 4 coming in at 116 proof. And it was in Rack House 02. I'm going to give myself just a little bit extra because why? I can. All right. On the other side, on the left, is Old Forester Single Barrel Rye. Old Forester has been punching its way through the list, and it is 128.9. It was in Warehouse K on floor number 1. And of course, like I said before, it is rye barrel strength single barrel. Of course, we have no idea what the mash bill is, so we have them right here. I was going to throw in one more kind of twist to the very end because why not? It's the very end. I am going to walk away. I'm going to have these glasses either switched or not switched. My wife is going to put them up, and then I'm going to do them blind to see which one is truly going to win, because both of these, now let's get this one straight. These are both phenomenal drinks. It's just a matter of who's going to win and how that's going to work. So I'm going to disappear real quick, and she's going to come in and switch them if necessary.
A few moments later.
Here we go. She switched them around on me. I don't know which one they went to or where. So, all right, let's finish talking about the Ryder Cup. In hole 17, we did a kind of a summary of what was going on. However, talk a little bit more about the Ryder Cup. We know Samuel Ryder's we'll call him the source of the Ryder Cup. He's the one that got it all started. We know about the trophy. We know about the little guy on the top. It was Samuel Ryder's instructor. We know it all started at Worcester Country Club in Massachusetts, 1829. And 1929, sorry. And some of the more historic things that started was in 1969, the Jack Nicklaus concession. That was huge. 1979, the expansion from Great Britain to include Europe, so it became more competitive. That was huge. We also have some contentious moments, 1991 and 99, when there was kind of, we'll call, arguments on the course about how people played. And then we have some pretty big deficit winners, right? The U.S. has the biggest win so far in the history of the Ryder Cup. However, in recent history, Europe has been slaying it. Although last year we took it to them, but that's one out of many. All right, so Bethpage Black, number 18. This is a par 4, 364 yards, and it is handicap number 12. Okay, handicap number 12. Meaning it's on the second half of the easiest holes. Now, to say that at Bethpage Black is not saying a lot, right? The whole entire course is hard. The whole entire course is tight. The whole entire course is surrounded with sand of some variety. And just like on hole 3, the par 3 on 17, not only are there sand traps in the way, but the greens have such severe undulation, it's hard to keep them on here. And this par 4 364 is no joke. All right, it's coming, so it is it's just a bit of a bender going uphill, and it's a beautiful looking hole as it's coming into the clubhouse. So there'll be thousands of people to watch, and it is right where in the landing area there is at least a half a dozen sand traps to gobble up golf balls. And then it goes up, and it's a huge undulation up to a green that is what? Surrounded by sand traps. So the finishing hole, although number 12, if you're struggling on your iron game, you are going to get bit on 18. So that's what it is. So hopefully you like seeing what you saw or hear what you heard on the stuff about the Ryder Cup. It's very, very interesting how things like that get started. Bethpage Black, again, the people sit in their cars for hours on end in order to get a shot at being able to get on, and walk away probably dejected because you better be single digit in order to be able to play this place. All right, so now as we get into, I'm going to pull up some other stuff here. As we get into this, I want to give a shout out to all the other ryes that we had. And we had Green River, Sagamore, Pikeville, Minor Case, another Hard Truth, Castle and Key, which did really well, surprisingly so. Willett, we had Michter's, we had Circle City, Old Pepper. We go through there. We had a Bardstown. We had Silver Grove from New Riff. We had Maysville, Old Maysville, which was another surprise. Very good stuff. Starlight had a shot at it. Larrikin and Middle West. All right, those are all the ones that kind of flowed through there, plus this guy here as well. So there was a lot of really good ryes. All of those were pretty much winners, right? The two I will give notoriety. Minor Case for being a low proof rye that was finished, was a great starter if you want to get into ryes, and it went all the way up into the quarterfinals. It held its own. And I know for a fact, because I got one back here behind me, that the single barrel is even better. I had that earlier because they didn't release it till this year, so that's next year's model has a real opportunity of winning the whole thing hands down. That's how good that is. All right, and the Whiskey Thief, you got to give a nod to Whiskey Thief for getting all that way. Not known for being a big bourbon company, or a rye company for that matter, and they took that all the way to the house in the semifinals. So nods to all these guys. So thumbs up to everybody. All right, so our description one more time. On the left is Old Forester, Brown-Forman Company. They're on Whiskey Row. Everybody knows where they're from. It's a monster company. They put out stuff like the Presidential's Choice, birthday bourbons, that kind of stuff. You never get too much of this, their rye, and you get it in this particular setup. I don't see too much in the way of any other kinds of ryes. But they're a very large company. They do things right. I do like the idea that it's a darker, deeper type of flavor, nose, that kind of thing. So, and they do very well. On the other hand, Hard Truth is, we'll call them upstart in comparison, because they're only about a 10-year-old company out of Indiana and not too far from the Louisville area. Hard Truth sits on 330 plus acres, and they're doing exactly what they need to do in order to get noticed. They have several different tours, of which we've talked about in the past. They started out with bourbons, but their master distiller is really into a rye, and we're starting to see that in this. They claim to be the number 3 rye with the regular rye mash bill. It's not my favorite, but this one, oh my gosh, is. The tours are unique in their own special way. There's nobody out there doing it like them. So if you want to have a different experience, a more fun experience of dealing with whiskeys, rums, gins, that kind of stuff, then Hard Truth is the place to go. Okay, so I don't know which one is which, so we'll have to take a look. I think the one on the right's a bit darker. We'll see. So we'll give the one on the, well, I did the left on the hole 17, so as I've been doing, the one on the right is going to be first. Okay, so it's a sweeter, and I'm going to find out what this note is. I keep calling it a burnt brown sugar, but now this has more of that fruit and sugar note. I want to say a peach. I came across that on hole 17, but very easy on the nose. I'm not getting any of the rye grain. Just absolutely sweet right off the bat. Very good. The other one, a little bit more muted. It is the same exact, I'm coming off with the same exact nose. I'm getting a bunch of sweetness as well. And again, I keep thinking one day I'm going to get this chocolate note because they talk about malted. But I'm getting very, very similar. This one's just a little bit deeper. This one is just a tick underneath, just a tick underneath. Okay, so again, we're going to start on the right. I just can't believe how sweet these are coming off. I guess that's the difference, and a lot of people would be off-put by when they hear rye and they think spicy and they think harsh and stuff. And if anything else, this should show you that it's not that way. Okay, and this one I get I do get the rye. It's on the front of the palate. You get that bit of a grainy, spicy note. You also get the kind of an oily overtone in the middle, and with a pretty hard finish on the back. When I mean hard, I mean long lasting. It is going, they call it the Kentucky hug, and getting that for sure. Since that's the first drink, we're going to try another one just to see what happens if the palate gets acclimated. And we're going to go back and forth because we really want to get the right one. The right one. How about that? Yep, so I'm glad I did that. It came out a little bit more almost like a really dark cherry followed by that burnt brown sugar kind of taste. And the finish isn't so as hard as I said it was before. Nice, even keel kind of flavor. All right, let's go with the next one. Matter of fact, okay, this one is oilier. It's not as, where the first one was rye, oil, finish, or cherry, nothing, finish. This one is very consistent across the palate. Yep, in this one you get the almost a lighter tone on the front, and then you get into the middle and you get the oiliness yet again, and on the back is where the rye grain starts showing its features, right? Okay, that was round one. Let's go back the other way now. Again, that lighter, it's a lighter sweetness kind of vibe. So I get this kind of fruity note on the front, not like a darker fruit, not like a peach like I did on the last hole. Kind of a darker fruit that gives on just a hint of that, and then it's followed by the rye grain spice, and then it gets into the what I would call an average finish, so not too bad. Okay, this is a little deeper. As far as the nose goes, it's evolved a little bit. And it's the rye grain right on the front, oilier in the middle, and I will say a decent finish on the end. This one's evolved. I think it was just a little bit less in the glass. There's way more caramel in that one. And this one gets more rye. So as we go, I'm starting to enjoy this glass as far as the nose a little bit, but All right, last one. So this one comes out, it still has that sweet nose that hasn't evolved at all. And it's gone from kind of a sweeter to a rye grain to an oily and a decent finish. Where this one has calmed down quite a bit. Just a hair smoother. You still get you still get that caramel flavor. Again, the rye grain right behind it, and after that, that would be going with that one. So, as it goes, if we had to do this, the one on the right, now I'm starting to get a little bit of mint, a little bit, and this one is putting off ethanol. So, right now, if I had to do this for right now, I would give the nose to this particular glass, and I would give the palate to this particular glass. And then as far as uniqueness goes, in every instance, I'm going to give it to Hard Truth only because of the way that they're conducting their business. We've been there a few times, and the several different tours that they have, the people that they have there are just phenomenal. The folks here are great too, to be sure. So, but these guys are really, I think this is what's going to be the future of, if you're going to go visit a distillery, what you want to go see. Now again, the cool part about this one is their cork. It's actual real cork on the top and synthetic cork in the middle, and we're staying with the tradition. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to give the uniqueness to this one. We're going to give the nose to this one, and we're going to give the palate to this one. So as I got to turn to what was on the left, this one. So what we're looking at from the peanut gallery has told me, this is Hard Truth, this is Old Forester. And we split on the nose, and we split on the palate, split on the nose and the palate, and uniqueness went to this. So the winner of the Ryeder Cup this year is Hard Truth. Let's say it all together. Hard Truth Master Distiller Reserve Sweet Mash Rye Straight Rye Whiskey, barrel strength, uncut, unfiltered, batch number 2, size of 10 barrels, rack house number 2, dumped on 923, and is 116.6. It is mash bill number 4, caramel malt, and distilled and aged in charred American oak barrels in Brown County, Indiana. So there you go, sweet mash. So there you go, guys. Congratulations to Hard Truth. A very heavy-duty nod, because it was only a points difference, really, to Old Forester that'll make it all the way to the end. So again, guys, thank you. If you saw something that you like, please like and subscribe. Do all those really neat things. And as always, let's see you save your pars, but share those pours.